Paul Asaro. We're in a special edition of Live and Local here on FM 90.9, and as you could tell from an actual audience response, which we don't usually get, or at least if we do get one, I never hear it, because I'm sitting in a studio over at WILL, but right now I'm sitting in a bar at the Blind Pig in downtown Champaign on Walnut Street, and Paul Asaro has his very own piano sitting in a corner here. And we have an audience as they opened up the place. No, they're not open at noon, as you're hearing the show at noon, but we are recording this in advance at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon. And Paul, really appreciate your joining us on the show and helping us to put together this kind of a special program.
Well, thank you, and thanks for making me way over here so we could record on my own piano. That's always a treat.
Yeah. What was the tune we just heard?
That piece was called Riffs. As in jazz riffs. It was written by James P. Johnson, the father of the stride piano. I thought it would be a good representative tune to start out with. Stride piano style is what I've been playing for, well, my whole career. It's the basis of my style. And that, as you can hear, has its feet in the ragtime era and in the jazz era at the same time. A lot of improvisation going on. But that's stuff I like to play.
Let's hear a little more music. Before you pick something else, you mentioned the first piece you played, James P. Johnson, of stride piano, and then there's ragtime, and then there's other styles as well. What's the difference specifically between stride and ragtime?
Yeah, that's the question I get the most often from people, and stride piano isn't a word you hear that often anymore. You either hear, most people are familiar with the term ragtime. If I take a tune like the Maple Leaf Rag, I'm going to play it in what I consider a stride piano manner. For one thing, it swings like jazz, and there's also a fair amount of improvisation in the style. So let's see where we go with this.
Before you start, doesn't it also have a lot to do with what the left hand is doing, the term
right.
Stride?
Right. In ragtime, you've got this kind of oompa oompa. It represents the tuba and sometimes the trombone in a marching band. It comes right out of the marching band. And the stride piano players took that and made it sound a little bit more like, say, a string bass in a jazz combination. So it would sound, let's see. More of the pluck of a string bass, and a lot more variation in the notes that are used. So you might have, if that makes sense. And then the right hand, instead of the, let's say, well, I'll use this second strain. It sounds like this. So in the stride piano, maybe you would go up an octave a little higher and do a little improvisation like this. And it's the Maple Leaf Rag corrupted with jazz.